here. So we're going to do something super cool. We're going to create a viral referral program. So this is going to be really cool. So let me give you a quick intro. Then we're going to talk about like how you can implement this strategy for your business. And then we're going into implementation, and I'll show you exactly how to click it all together. So let's get started with this. So yeah, how great would it be like if your people, like the people in your chatbot, started to share the thing with other friends? Like imagine every subscriber invites 2 friends. Like they will like start snowballing like crazy, and you will end up with tons and tons and tons of high quality subscribers. And yeah, you could just ask people to invite friends. I've also tried that for a while, and it definitely works, but not that many people do it because yeah, what's in it for them? Like not so much. So that's why I'm convinced that you have to reward people for inviting their friends. And in this tutorial, you will exactly learn how. So there are 2 things we have to think about here. So who are we going to invite, and when are we going to invite them? So I don't think you should just blindly like invite like everybody on your list, like just like do a broadcast, or like as soon as they join your messenger bot, that is going to be the first thing that you ask. I think you should build some trust first. Just make sure that people already know you for a while, so you could use lead scoring for that, so you can figure out who's like engaging, and yeah, you invite those people. So I'm, for example, inviting people when they reach a lead score of 25, so that I know like, okay, this person is already following me for a while, is engaging with the content. So it's more likely that they want to invite someone than versus someone that's just brand new and who's like, yeah, okay, why would I share your stuff? Like, I don't even know you yet. So then we have to think about what reward we are going to give. So some studies have shown that non-cash rewards work better than cash rewards. So instead of saying like, hey, we give you $5 for every person you invite, you could also do something else. So for example, Dropbox gives like a 500 megabyte upgrade to your account for every friend that you invite. So I think that's really cool. And I myself, I give like access to like a secret part of the website with some other cool tutorials, like completely free, but you have to share the messenger bot 3 times with their friends. So I'll also show you in a bit how that works. So yeah, I think you have to think about what your subscriber wants, like what is their desired goal, and how could you help them to get a little closer to that goal. And I think that's what you have to give. So yeah, that's like the strategy part. So yeah, don't just invite everybody, invite people that already trust you for a while, or yeah, already know you for a while. And yeah, think about the reward, think about what their desired goal is and how you can help them get a little bit closer to that. So then we're going over to the exciting stuff, so the implementation stuff. So we're going to need Manychat, and we're also going to do some cool things with Zapier. So yeah, you need to use those 2 tools. You can also use Integromat, like works almost the same. And yeah, let's just dive into this. I will try to go slow, but you can also just pause this video or watch it again if I went a bit too fast. So the first thing we have to do is we have to create the invitation. So before we do that, before we create the invitation, we have to create some custom fields, because then we can just like go next. So I want you to create 3 custom fields. So we have to create a text custom field, which is invited by, a text custom field has invited, and a number field, the referral score. So invited by, we are going to use for the payload. I'll explain that in a bit. For the messenger ref URL that people can share, and has invited, we are going to use for a confirmation message to the person who shared the message bot. We can say like, hey, thanks for sharing. Yeah, thanks for sharing the bot with John Doe. You now have 2 points. And that's what we use the referral score for. So to keep the amount of points, so for every person that they invite, they get like 1 point. And then in this example, when they reach 3 points, they're going to get access to the secret part of the website. Okay, so we have to create that invitation flow. So in that flow, we have to explain why they're being asked. So I'm saying like, hey, you're super engaging, super nice, super cool. We're going to say like what they get if they share it. And we're going to tell them how many times they have to share the bot. So let's just dive into Manychat. So the flows that you have to create, I already created them. You can see them here, has invited, invited by, and here's also referral score. So in case you don't know how to create new custom fields, you want to do that here. It's just like a new user field. And then you want to create text fields and the number fields. Make sure that you've set that up right. So you have to invited by is a text field, has invited is a text field, and then a referral score, very important, has to be a number field so that we can increase the score. That does not work with a text field, so it really has to be a number field. So create those things first, and then I want to show you what the invitation flow looks like. So I have it right here. So it's pretty simple actually, like it's not too complicated. So we're just going to say like, hey Max, so we're using the first name variable there. I noticed you're really engaging, super awesome. Do you maybe know someone who would also like to learn more about messenger marketing? So this is the exact flow that I'm using. You can obviously just change that. So people can either say yes or no. It's very permission based. And if they say yes, then I'm going to give them a tag. So we give them the tag has been invited to ask a friend. And we're going to use this tag to prevent people from clicking this button themselves, the get started button, because otherwise they could add points themselves by clicking that button. That would be a bit lame, right? And I also noticed that quite a lot of people are like curious and they click the link, and then you will see that later. We're going to do that. We're going to send a message that says like, hey, only your friend can click this link, Max. So they get that tag, and then we're going to say like, okay, great, just share the card below with your friends. If 3 of your friends subscribe to the bot, I'll give you access to a hidden part of my website with some really cool tutorials or videos. So again, you can just change it and just put in your reward. And then they're going to get the card. I'll edit the flow, then I can show you. So we have the card, we created the card, and I added a get started button. So this is a URL. You can see that here. So this is the messenger ref URL that we're going to create in a bit. And we have the share button. So with the share button, they can share it inside Messenger with friends on Facebook in Messenger. So you can just do that by clicking here, and then you go down, and then here you see share this card, and then you can add that. You cannot change that text. It's just native. And also if the subscribers are, or like the receiver has another language, then also the word will change to their language. So that's maybe also good to know. So then they say, okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, if they say no, we just say like, okay, cool, no worries. And then I ask them if they want to play some rock, paper, scissors instead, like, keep it fun. So yeah, that's what the invitation looks like. So yeah, we explain why they're being asked, what they can get, and how many times they have to share the bot. So I did it very permission based, very friendly, not too pushy, but you can just like experiment with this, right? Make some A/B tests, see what works well. So what do we have to do then? We have to track and reward the subscribers who invite friends. So this is a little bit more complicated. We're going to need Zapier for it. But first, we're going to create a messenger ref URL. So this is a growth tool that we're going to create. So you would go here to the left to growth tools. You would create a new growth tool. And then I'm going to call it viral referral program. You can just give it another name if you like. And then we have the messenger ref URL. So you click this one, and we're not going to change this one yet. We'll do that later. But what we want to do is we want to go over to setup. So you click setup, and this is the URL that we have right here. So it's not so nice, right? So we want to change this ugly number by something nice. You can do that with the custom ref parameter. So we're going to put in here friend, or maybe friends. All right, so I'm going to use friends for this one because I already used friend in another one as a test. So we do the friends, and then this is where the magic happens, is that we're going to save the payload. So they call this a payload, like for super fancy word for saving the extra little piece of data to a custom field. So this is what we're going to use the invited by custom field for. So you go here, you select invited by, you click save. And what this does is that if we copy this URL, so So we copy it, and then I will just put it here quickly so I can show you. And then if we have 2 dashes, and everything after those 2 dashes is the payload. So everything after those 2 dashes is being saved to the invited by custom field. So if I would put in here my name, Max van Collenburg, then Max van Collenburg would be saved to the invited by custom field of the person who clicks this link. So the friend who receives this thing. So this is really cool. So we're going to need this part. So we have created this, we did this. So now we want to insert the URL as a button into a card in the invitation flow that I just showed you. So I'm saving this for now. We're not going to change anything else here. We're going back to flows, and then I will look for the invitation again. We're going to edit it. And then we want to insert the URL in the get started here. So I already did that, but we'll just do it again. So what we do here is we insert the URL. So don't forget the 2 dashes at the end. We have the 2 dashes here. And then we do the first name. We do the first name, then we do a plus. So the plus works a bit like a space. So Manychat doesn't see this. Like if we save it like this to that custom field, the invited by custom field, then you won't see a space. So you don't have to worry about that. So we do the last name. So yeah, like this, we have the ref URL. We have the 2 dashes. We have the first name. Oh, we have the first name, we have the plus, and then we have the last name. So then you click done, and this button is now ready to be shared. So we did that. So what we want to do then is we want to create an opt-in flow and trigger a zap. So we're going to hit publish here to make sure that it's all working. Let's zoom out, see if everything's checking. Okay, and also remember this tag, like I will show you that in the flow that we're going to create now, is that people that are say yes, I want to invite someone, they get this tag. We're going to use that in a bit. So there has been asked to invite a friend tag. So we're going over to the example flows, and then we're going to the opt-in flow. So this is the opt-in flow. So this is the flow that we're going to connect to the growth tool. So as you see, the first thing is we're going to check if the person clicked by himself or herself by checking if they have that tag. So people who have been asked to invite a friend always have this tag. So if they click the get started button, so the messenger ref URL, they get into this flow. So if the subscriber has this tag, then we know that they clicked it by themselves. So what we do then is we're going to clear the invited by custom field because it will have like his own name. And then we're going to give like a nice message that says like, hey, this message will only work for your friend Max, but thanks for sharing in advance anyway. And then people can say like, okay, hey, thanks Max, you rock. And if not, if they do not have that tag, then it's like a legitimate invitation. This is like their friend opting into the bot, coming here for the very, very first time. And what we do is we're going to add a tag to trigger a zap. So you can also do this with the zap event, works exactly the same result. So, and then I also added like a little empty block because people then go to the empty block and then you can exactly see how many people got into the bot and who got into the bot. And I just think it's handy for the overview. And then we're pushing them into the content loop. So we're just pushing them into the messenger bot, and we'll get like the welcome message and like everything else. So it's all about this one. So it's about this tag. So people who were legitimately invited by this person, so they have the invited by custom field and they don't have this tag, they will go into Zapier. So we're going to trigger a zap, and then we're going to quickly over to the sheet, and I can tell you. So the zap is going to be 4 steps. So first we want to trigger it with a new text user. We want to find a user by the name. So yeah, we're going to search for the person who shared it by looking for the invited by custom field, like that value. So if I would share the bot with you and you will click on that link, then the invited by custom field will have the Max van Collenburg value because I shared it with you. And then we're going to find the user by name, so Max van Collenburg, and then it will be successful and it will give us back all the information about the subscriber, including the user ID, which we can use in the next steps. So then we're going to set a custom field. So we're going to save the name of the invited friend to the has invited custom field. So then I would get your name in the has invited custom field. So then I would get a message that says like, hey, thanks for sharing the bot with John Doe. Really appreciate it. You still have so many points, blah, blah, blah. But we will get back to that later. And then we're going to send the content and we're going to send that message. So we have Zapier, we connected Manychat already. And what we want to do is we want to start with the new tagged user. So you have lots of options here, but you want to do the new tagged user. You go to edit options, and then you want to select the tag Zap invited by a friend. So that's this tag. So when this tag is added to the friend that has been invited, then this Zap will be triggered. So I'm putting myself here. So then we would go into the second step, which is find the user by name. So then you would also go here, and then instead of creating something, we would search. We will search for the user by name. So what we can do here is we go to edit options. Then now it says no data because we didn't test it. But if we would give a tag to a person, then it would say here Max van Collenburg. So I would delete this, then I can show you. So when we would really test this, it would say, so we would select step 1. You can select the little 1 here, and then we're going to do username. So that will give us the full name, and that way we can save the full name, of like search for the full name. And if we do that, I'm not sure if I can show you. See if that works. Okay, then we'll say fetch and continue. So now it's going to search for my name, and then it says test successful. Then you can here view the user by name, and then you see here that it found me. So you get all the information back, including the user ID. If we will scroll down a bit, here. So we have the user ID, and this ID we can use in the next steps. So the next step is set custom field. So under create, you see set custom field. You would go to edit template, and then here, and this is a little bit tricky, you would go all the way to the bottom and you would click use custom value. So this is an advanced option, they say, but yeah, that's what we want. And then we want to use a custom value for the user ID, and we're going to use the user ID from step 2. See, so this is step 1. So this is the new tag user. This is the user that we found. So we want to do a user of like step 2, and then user ID from step 2. And then we're going to change the has invited custom field, and we're going to change it to the name from step 1. See here, like step 1. And so this is the person which triggered the Zap. So this is the friend that has been invited. So it's maybe a bit complicated here because I'm testing like with myself. So I invited myself kind of. And so you will see my name, but obviously if you would invite someone else here, then another name would show up here. So we've set that has invited to the name of the person we invited it. Then we would go send content to user. So this is basically we can send a flow to the user. So then you would go to edit template, and then here you can again use a custom value for the user ID, but in the value of step 2. So again, important step 2. So the find user by name. If you would do step 1, then the person who got invited would get the message. It would be super weird. So then the content, and then we want to do the invited a friend success. So this is going to be the success message. So we have to create a success message flow. And what we want to do in that flow is we want to increase the score by 1. We want to check with conditions with like what their current score is. And we want to tell how many more times they have to share the bot and give people their reward when they reach the goal. So we would go back over to the example flows. So we go to the example flows, and then we have here success. We go edit, and I can show you how it works. So here we have on the left, we have that we're going to increase the referral score. So remember, this is a number, and because it's a number, We can set the number to a certain number. We can increase it, decrease it, or use a custom formula. So we want to increase the number by 1. So we're going to do it with 1 point. We're going to add the score. Then I have some conditions and a delay here. So with this, we make sure that people, like the person who shared it, so the person who gets the reward, the person who gets like the confirmation message, has at least not interacted for 10 minutes. So if they have interacted less than 10 minutes ago, they go into a delay, and after those 10 minutes, they go in there again, and then we're going to send the confirmation message. So I did this because maybe that person is still talking to the messenger bot or something, and then they would suddenly get this success message in between those messages. And I think that would be really weird. So that's why I did this, so that we know, like, okay, it's at least 10 minutes ago since they have last interacted. And then we're going to say like, hey, Max. And then if the first time that they shared it, then the point went up by 1 and the score will be 1. So then we have a condition here, and then it says referral score is exactly 1. And if it's exactly 1, then we're going to say like, hey, just wanted to thank you quickly for sharing the bot with, and then this is what the has invited custom field is for. So we have it here, right? We set it in step 3. In step 3, we set the custom field of the person who shared it with the name of the person that was invited. And that will then show up nicely here. So it would say like, hey, thank you for sharing the bot with John Doe. Invite two more to unlock some tutorials in the hidden section of my website. And then PS, you rock. Well, if they would get this a second time, then the second time we will check with a condition if the score is exactly 2. And if it's exactly 2, then you can say like the same, like, hey, thanks again for sharing. Invite 1 more to unlock some tutorials and in the hidden section of my website. So see, like here we set 2, here we set 1. So it's basically like counting down. And if the score is exactly 3, so exactly 3, that's how many people I want people to invite. So if they share 3 friends, then I'm going to say like, hey, cool, you invited 3 friends now. Awesome. If you like, you can now access the hidden part on my website. And then they can click this quick reply, and then I get a link to the button. So I did a quick reply first, because if this thing is being sent out of the 24-hour window, so it's not promotional, but if there is a URL in it, then Facebook could see it as promotional content. So you would want to avoid sending links like in the first message. And I also think this is a bit more conversational. And then if you would invite 4 friends, so greater than or equal to 4, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 500 friends, then it would get a message every time that says like, hey, thanks for inviting another friend, really appreciate it. You invited like amount of friends now. So the referral score, you invited 6 friends now. Awesome. And then yeah, if you like, you can also add another incentive there that you can say like, okay, like if you share 5 more friends, I would give you my whole product for free, or I'm just saying something. So yeah, you can just really customize this all to your own needs. So yeah, that's the fun. This is all how it's all working. So let's go over it once again, like over the whole thing. And then I will just let you like implement all these things and like just like start creating that snowball effect to get lots of people in your bot. So yeah, we want to ask people to invite friends and to to convince them to do that. We want to give like a little reward, so that it's more likely that they're going to share. So you have to think about who you're going to invite and when you're going to invite them. So I'm going to invite people that already trust me a bit. I think you should also do that. And then with lead scoring, you can figure that out. So when they reach like a certain score, you can use that. Then what reward are you going to give? So studies have shown that non-cash rewards work better than cash rewards. And I also think because it's not directly related to sales, you have to know very, very, very well what a subscriber is exactly worth for you in order to give like a cash reward. So I think it's way easier to just like forget about cash and just give non-cash rewards. So yeah, think about what they want, think about what the desired goal is and how you could help them get a little closer to that goal. So give that. And then for the implementation, we created an invitation. You have to create some custom fields and you have to create the invitation flow. In the invitation flow, we are explaining why they're being asked. So because they're super engaging, what they can get, how many times they have to share the bot. And then we're going to track and reward with how many friends they shared, and also with who they shared. And we're going to do that with a ref URL, and especially the payload is very important here, so that we're going to put in the name behind 2 dashes into behind the messenger ref URL, so that we can save the name to the invited by custom field. Then we insert it into a button, and behind that button we do the 2 dashes, or in the URL in that button we do the 2 dashes, first name plus last name. And then we're going to create the opt-in flow, in which we check with the tag if they click the button themselves. Like, lots of people are going to do that, so you really want to make sure that you do that by making that condition with that tag. Then we're going to trigger a zap, so that zap is being triggered with a new tagged user. We're going to find the user by name, so we're going to find the person who shared it by looking for the invited by custom field. We're going to set the custom field has invited, so that we can say nicely, like, hey, thanks for inviting John Doe. And we can use this in what I just said, we can use that in a success message. And then we're going to send that content to the user, which we're going to send the has invited field for. And then we're going to increase the referral score by 1. And with a condition, we check what the referral score is. And then if they reach their goal, we're going to give them their reward. So that was this tutorial. I hope you got lots and lots of value from it. I think it's this really massive, cool strategy. I'm not sure how to say it, but I think you can really grow your list really quickly with this if you implement this well, and if you especially give like a cool reward that would be so valued that people would have paid for it. Like if they were like, whoa, okay, I'm going to get this if I share it with 3 friends or 5 friends or 500 friends, then I think this is a really cool way to grow your list really quick without spending any money on ads. And I think the lead quality would also be rather high, because it's a friend of a friend who is probably interested in the same topic. So super cool. Play around with this, and really let me know what you think about this. And if you have any questions about this tutorial, then feel free to send me a message or ask it in the group. Okay, that was this tutorial. We'll talk soon. I see you in the next one.